Good morning, this is Alamon, and welcome back to Kerbageddon Science Incorporated Episode 4. Now, what I decided to do, because things were going kind of weird up on Gilly, was I decided I wanted to set up some stuff back on Kerbal to get ready for some asteroids. And what better way to set for asteroids than to create some kind of weird crane device that can cart around massive asteroids, right? So I was looking around, and I found out about the Kerbal Foundries mod, which has a whole bunch of things, especially things focused on mobility. And I wanted to try out these really interesting kind of hover jet thingamajigs. So I started creating this platform for a crane. I wanted to have quite a bit of mass in the center, so that's all the liquid fuel plus oxygen parts. I also knew that there were these generators that I just strapped on right there that use the liquid fuel and oxygen to create electricity that is designed to go with this, because the levitating thingamajigs take a whole bunch of electric power, so solar power might not be adequate depending on how you're trying to do things. Also, these were all messed up when I was trying to do it in symmetry mode. You know, the one on the other side would face the wrong direction. I eventually just had to put them all on individually. But here's our first test, and we lift off the ground, which is pretty amazing. I mean, this is a really cool idea for a part, but now we need some method of propulsion. And I figured, you know what, if these things push away from whatever they're pointed at, why don't I just stick one on the back and have a hinge that can angle downward toward the ground to push us at like that 45-degree angle. So here we go, we're angling it toward the ground, and it lifts our tail, but that's pretty much it. So that didn't work. Also, those generators are what are making that jet noise, and that's getting pretty annoying. So I decided to get rid of those generators, and instead, first of all, put on a bunch more batteries, but then solar panels to see if we can just power this based only on solar energy. And there we go, lifting off the ground, except now we have some violent shaking in those back two units, which is not good, and we're also moving forward at a pretty fast pace considering that we don't have any propulsion yet, so that's worrisome. And that's where it cuts out. I had some more problems with fraps. I developed that ship quite a bit more than that, but lost all that footage, and then eventually decided to try a completely different design, so let's see that one. Alright, so I decided that the hovering stuff really wasn't that reliable, and that instead it might be better to go for these enormous kind of tank tread track kind of things, which actually seem to work quite well, I have to say. I built a much bigger, much more robust, much heavier device, and instead of using a grabber claw for the crane, which is where that other first design went, I decided to instead use the winches and to support this crane with lots of struts from the two arms. So I was actually really happy with this design. Then I was going to try lifting that big fuel tank there. So let's get a Kerbal out, and this is really lagging a lot. That ladder's folding out so slowly. It's like watching paint dry. Alright, this is way too slow, so we're just gonna jump off here. Yep. So you might know what this is. I've had this happen in previous versions of Kerbal Space Program. Yeah, basically, everything is destroyed. Probably all of the units I had on the ground are probably flying at some significant proportion of the speed of light out of the Kerbal system. It's screwed up all of the graphics, so now everything is just pitch black. So I did a couple different things to try to bring it back. I quit back to the main menu, went back in, resumed the game. Spoiler alert, doesn't work. Usually quitting the game completely and then relaunching it and waiting the 5 minutes while all of your mods load will bring it back. But like I said, all of the units that were on the ground are almost certainly gone. So this series hasn't been going too well from a technical standpoint. I had tons of problems on Gilly trying to use the mods there. Just had a lot of trouble, first of all, getting a crane that would work on Kerbal. at all, just as far as the design of the unit went. And then I just ended up, running into that world-shattering bug. So I think the fun has gone out of this series for me. I'd still like to do more Kerbal Space Program in the future, but I think that this series has been sufficiently cursed, and that maybe in the future I'll use somewhat fewer mods to hopefully avoid some of this instability. So, thanks for sticking with the series as far as you did, and I hope that you'll join me in the future. So good night, sleep tight, and don't let the Kraken bite, because believe me, it hurts. Bye-bye.